Rock on!
Good evening, everybody! We're not live, but we're recording.
We're nearly
Welcome
live.
to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Over there, and over here. I'm James, also known as Thundercloud, playing a few linguistic games. Good evening, hello, Jack.
Oh, hello,
You've been joined by Hello and Vincent.
Just in time. The wheels should
Well, I'll begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians on the land from which we broadcast tonight here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame in Guyra in the Seahorse Medicine Cafe. Tonight I'm going to be reading out a couple of from this book, the Penguin Anthology of Australian Poetry, edited by John Kinsella, and then Localities, poems by Robert Harris. But I'm going to start the night with the one I wrote this morning because I was out running at 6 o'clock in the zero. It was like -6, and I
that's it.
took my shirt off. I took my shirt off and kept running for a little while, and then I put it back on really quickly. So like I woke up this morning and had fresh air to breathe. The wind was blowing a tumbling leaf. And these are the thoughts that came into my head. I'm grateful to be alive and I'm not dead.
Hey.
I put on my warm clothes and went for a run. It was zero, dark, cold with no sign of the sun. I ran, jumped, skipped, happy to be alive. What makes you stronger helps you to thrive. The air was crisp, so I thought I'd be bold. I took my warm shirt off to embrace the cold. It felt like -8, but it wasn't snowing. The cool morning winter wind was blowing. I'm grateful for life and what's going down. I've never a reason to put on a frown. Wow. So, just getting up in the morning and before you when you put your feet on the bed, on the floor, I mean, the first thing I like to do is just to have a gratitude practice, and that's what it was this morning after I went for a run. So,
Thank you.
because we don't have a war, we don't have everyone in this country pretty much, no one should starve. We're very lucky people, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, so on that note, this last night I read out of this book, Robert Fitzgerald's poem, the Blowing Leaf or whatever it was called. Tonight though, this is Jimmy Murray. Now I'm just going to turn off this second heater for the noise. We've still got this one on. Oh, good. Hello, buddy. I've been joined by a buddy. So this one's called Thunder. It's in the Guyra dialect. It's by Jimmy Murray, and I'll read the Guyra dialect, then I'll read the English version to you. Thunder. Manga walmanyu murul nyamarangu. Murul walmanyu manga nyamarangu. Mada nyiburu gubu gurangu. Mina milmindu mimba mejalagu. Manga walmanyu murul nugumarangu. Mada niburu guba guraragu. Munga walmanyu murul ngama ngumarangu. Mara nyeburu gubu guraragu. Minya milmindu minba maijalgu. Munga walmanyu murul ngamarangu. Wow. A mighty noise rises up, roars as it rushes by, rushes and rises, a mighty noise that roars, hurl out a leaf that is soaked in sweat. Bolts of lightning strike and flare, a mighty noise rises up, roars as it rushes by, hurl out a leaf that is soaked in sweat. A mighty noise rises up, roars as it rushes by, hurl out a leaf that is soaked in sweat, bolts of lightning strike and flare. A mighty noise rises up, roars as it rushes by.
Right.
So that was by Jimmy Murray. It's the first poem in this book here, which is broken up into First Nations poets like the 1800s, the 1900s, the 2000s, etc., and modern poets. The next one I'm reading from, and I'm going to read the same poem, some of the same ones I read last night on Chill and Tuesday, where I just sit here on this chair and do poetry and read things that I like. And last night I read more of the Song Circle of Jackie by Colin Johnson, Mudbaroo. But these were ones that I really liked out of this book, Localities by Robert Harris, published by Seahorse Publishers, something like that. Seahorse Publications, that's right. In about 1974, there's no date in this, but the only thing that I can kind of... They left the date off the publishing data. But there is a thing here that says Marilyn, looks like page 10th of the 9th, 1974, so that sort of dates it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read the first poem out of this book and a few other short ones that I really were drawn to. This one is called Girl Singing, and I'm just going to sit down to read it because it's sort of one of those ones where you want to do it not too forcefully. So that's how it goes. Out there in the laundry, she's softly singing, dissolving and blending shreds and shards of half-remembered dreams. Low singing, as if she's afraid to be heard, afraid to be found here singing by anyone who might think singing criminal. And she sings sweetly, tones, sharps, notes, loom and deceive, dip, turn away, rise again and once more turn the corner in her throat where briefly voices lost in the slap of washing against the rough gut of the trough. Now to his cormorant ears another song emanates from behind the wall, drops from her lips like a gambler's perfect card on a row below in a willow pattern where a balloon is ascending steadily up to the white hot eye of the sun.
Wow.
Very nice. Like I really like that just for its
What's the name of that?
imagery. Girl singing.
In the laundry.
Wow, that's where she is.
Sounds
Yeah.
like reminds me of maybe my mum.
Yeah.
Trying to get a bloody word in.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
8 lines. The fat clouds tumble across the bay, cluster and trouble the skies, whilst over land their running stains of shadows swiftly play. Immured safely behind white windowsills, who would not relinquish a story of time spent defenceless on the green spine of the ridge, where savage lightning licks and thunder thrills.
Wow.
And the next one is a few short ones. As I said, I chose these just because of their succinctness and their beauty. A shadow for the collection. He loved you honestly, mystery. He thrilled to the way you moved and spoke, got lost in your body and hair, and was wholly swamped in your several oceans until you, mystery, in your mystery, hurt him most mysteriously. And the very last one is the shortest of the lot, Easter poem. Christ, your pitch of light enshrines our lives, which in turn perpetuate your cross.
Read that again.
Christ, your pitch of light enshrines our lives, which in turn perpetuate your cross.
I'm trying to work it out. I'm not sort of.
That's an acerbic message.
Yeah, I'm not convinced of that.
Tartness.
Well, it's a 1974 thing, you know,
Yeah.
where much more,
Yeah.
there's more religiousness. Yeah.
Oh, that's eternal, that thought is.
It
The
is.
thought's eternal.
It is, yeah. Yeah, your
And very
pitch of light
confronting.
enshrines our life,
Yeah.
which in turn perpetuates your cross.
Very good. And we cross our destiny with any great guru, Christ or Buddha or Muhammad.
Spectacles, testicles, wallet and watch.
Sorry, being a good Catholic.
That's a very good
All right, well, I'm done for now. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Steve Wordsmith up. Now, Steve's going off to Yetman.
Yeah. Have you been to Yetman?
Not yet, man!
Not yet,
Tell us where
Is that the answer? Oh yeah, we'll put this over here. And hello, Yetman, and all the people out there. I do remember Yetman. Yes.
Where is
Have you been to Bali?
Yeah, did I bring a barley?
Have you been to Bali?
I haven't been to Bali. I haven't been around the world, but I've been around the block.
But you're going to yet, man.
But I'm going to get there, Yetman.
Oh,
I've been to Yetman in '94.
Where is it? Where is Yetman?
Yetman is just
Now he's
below
the
the
fuck,
border.
but he's
It's in the
down there.
Tannerfield Shire, in that whole big area up through there. And yeah, I visited in '94, right in about October '94. Visited the community there, and it was a different story, I'm sure, then to what it is today. And you know, the one thing that impressed me at that time, and that was the community spirit that said, in Yetman, yes we can, in Yetman. And that's where we're going this Sunday for the yes, in Yetman. Yeah, good one. I actually, if I can find it here, I penned a little poem for Yetman. Oops, right. Okay. Oh, there it is. There. Yetman is but a small town, known by few, but quite renowned for saying in Yetman, yes we can, known for faring droughts and tempests, where community gather and say together, in Yetman, yes we can. When things get tough out in the bush, I came to Yetman in late 94. The place was like the scene of a nuclear war. No grass, no trees, they'd cut them all down to feed the precious livestock. Everything was grey, sort of brown. The people worn, there was no water, no feed. The stock were dying all around. There was nothing left but naked ground. But the spirit of community inspired me there that day, and inspired a nation who responded with water and much needed hay and food for the families to make them feel safe and okay. In Yetman, yes we can, and community spirit, common unity. The same community spirit lives on today, because here in Yetman we know that yes we can, yes we can.
Wow.
Yes, interesting little places, Yetman. So that's where we're going on the weekend, and I'm looking forward to saying hello to all the people up there. It was a community at that time of 100 and 67 people, now it's a community of 84, but people gather from all over the place to the Yetman Festival on Sunday because, yes, we can in Yetman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yes, man.
How far from here is it, Steve?
It's about 2.5 hours, I think.
Spitting distance.
Yeah. People travel from everywhere for it. I'd like to just do a couple of little ones that I've been writing there, if that's okay, James. And they're just my writings, so you know you like to let your writings be heard every now and then. This southern land of plenty, blessed by the father mother's hand, hurt by ocean waters and beaches of golden sand. This is a land of beauty, a land of sweeping plains, of rugged mountain ranges, of droughts and driving rains. Yes, awakening in this country and moving through this land like a wave of the source's glory, igniting the sparks as planned. As we clothe ourselves in humility and seek the higher self, this land of purpose, we have our future in our hands if we look with supervision and seek the eternal plan. Let's loose this tag of battlers. We have it in our grip. It's time to join the freedom train. Jump on, enjoy the trip. The spirit of Christos is here, transforming the hearts of man, raising up his daughters, raising up his sons. Let's not just get discouraged. It's different from the rest. The awakening that is here today is loving, community, eternal, the best. Yeah, times are really changing from the way it was before. The lessons that we've learned are still learning now. We are challenged every moment to break the patterns of the past. Don't be bound by fear and anguish of the hurts and memories. They were very helpful to build the character you are today. So stand in now in the moment and be the best you can. We have the opportunity to build a brand new world the way that we would like it if we take a different way. So listen to your higher self in each and every one. Have compassion for all people. Show love for no reason. The divine lives in the heart and heaven is what we make it and not in some place above. So it's time to give your mind a rest and listen to your heart and live in high vibration and unconditional love. A new paradigm. Isn't it exciting to live in this time and watching the world situation as the mystery unwinds? We stand on the premise of understanding as the last-ditch effort, as the old school makes their attempt to hold on in their physical science and the way that it's been. When change is apparent and we know now of energy and the vibration of life, the community and caring, not competing and warring and corruption and strife. So if we look forward to the heaven on earth, one with all beings as above and within, don't focus on the distraction. It will steal your love and your joy. Our thoughts are so powerful, we've been asking for change. So keep your eyes on the beauty of nature and the beauty of life. Let them fight, let them battle, and let the universe have them. It's not up to us. Our place is living in unconditional love. Fifth dimension. When our understanding reaches the place where we realise that humanity is in a place of great awakening, in transformation from a carbon-based life form into a silica-based form. Silica being crystal or as Christus, and the willingness to access all the tools that are given is the answer. To come to a place where our realisation that who we are is love, and that our purpose is to project much love into the world and overcome every distraction that tries to take our real eyes off who we are, understanding that the physical world is only an illusion, and by the energy that we project, we create a brand new world in the fifth dimension. Well, then, that's a little bit of my sorts of writing, and thank you, James. You know, I just get into this because poets have these interesting minds, and where do they come from, and what do they do to make this person think? And because what is poetry? Poetry is thoughts written down. And their opinions, and a lot of the time, and opinions are like bumholes, we all have them, so, you know, we just voice our opinions and such as poets. And it's good to be able to be here and voice our opinions in this place. And just thanks for having me here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Once again, I'll see you in Yetman on Sunday, and then all say, yes we can, in Yetman.
Yes,
Have a lovely day.
Ooh. Yes, we can.
Now, I'm going to throw out a challenge to the poets here for next week to write a limerick. Now, a limerick is a 5-line poem. The 1, 2, and 5 all rhyme, and 3 and 4 rhyme. And usually they're quite strictly metered in that, like, they're usually 8 or 9 meters. So a meter is a sort of like an I am. Or is it 8 syllables? 8 or 9 syllables, that's right.
Doug was a man from Australia, he had a whole bunch of dahlias.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The colour was fine, it looked quite divine. Yeah.
Do they have to be Irish?
No, like there's that town in, like Nathalia in Victoria. There was a young man from Nathalia who painted his bum like a day.
Yeah, that's right.
The colour was fine, it looked quite divine, but the smell was a hell of a failure.
That's the one. But he was from Australia, I think.
The rhythm of it.
It's that rhythm, yeah. And they're often, you know, there once was a man from Nantucket who tried to lift himself up in a bucket. He couldn't lift up, so he gave up and he walked away and said, "Fuck it." Yeah. All right.
Any prizes going, James?
Laughter. Lots of laughs.
Yeah, crispy tangerine. Yeah. Best limerick amongst us. Yeah.
All right. I am going to, in just a moment, before I do, I'm going to invite Gladys up. But before I invite Gladys up, Gladys's older brother is in hospital, isn't that right, Gladys? And he's having a bit of a heart problem, so I just would like to ask everybody here and everybody out there to send love to Gladys's brother. For a speedy recovery and him coming home to
What's his
Guyra.
name, mate?
Yeah.
Beg your pardon, mate?
What's his name?
Cecil.
Cecil.
Cecil. Thank you.
Yes, he's
Yeah,
we're
Cecil.
only hoping everything is all right, but at any rate, he's as I said, his wife, the day that she married him, I would have sent her a sympathy card because he's hard to deal with.
All right.
There you go.
We've put up with him for a very long time.
How old's Cecil now? How old's Cecil now?
He was 88 back in May.
Oh, good on him.
Radio.
Yeah.
So
Still
there's
saying
a
what?
good base for a limerick
Yeah,
there.
don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
All
married
right.
the
So
same
Gladys, come on up. Gladys has got a new one for us.
I'm hoping I can find it. Yes, he's a difficult customer, I tell you. He went to the doctor the other day and the doctor, he had swollen feet, so the doctor gave him some tablets and he said, they're not going to do me any good. And I said, well, how many more? I said 2 or 3 days, I've still got to take them. He said, they're doing him no good. Oh, did it help?
He's still recovering.
Sitting on the doctor.
Yeah. Cheap.
Oh, this grand old rocking chair.
Grand old.
Right, now Dave, we're right back.
Yep.
Okay, well anyway, it's lovely to have you guys back here again.
Oh, thank you.
You know, because it is a good group and we can have a lot of fun and a few good laughs.
That's it.
It's nice to have Susan over there too in the corner. She's always welcome in here.
All right. She's got
So,
your back.
yeah.
Got your back.
So yeah, but at any rate, this is the grand old rocking chair. No, I'll just say the grand old rocking chair, that's the start of right. Now I've got to put this down to him. This masterpiece once took pride of place and was truly adored by young and old, with a history of wonderful memories, even to this day are told. Auction day was finally here, as many travelled from far and wide to view the number of items that were on display inside. An elderly man in the room stood silent, his eyes just seemed to stare, as the final bid was placed on a grand old rocking chair. Visions from his childhood, though, still lingers, a time he remembers only too well, with large crowds now gathering as the auctioneer's hammer fell. With hours quickly passing, many went on their way, when from behind a voice began to say, "Of course, my friends, I look nothing like the day that I was born. As you can see, the varnish now no longer shines, with my tapestry seat all faded and worn. But this journey has been a long one, that seems to always take me back to when I stood in a cosy lounge room alongside the magazine rack. These precious moments from my past still I remember clear, as I'd happily rock away beneath the light of the chandelier. As the years all roll on and pages of our lives slowly turns, a glowing reflection in the mirror shows that fire in the grate still burns. His the old chair back in there, so a piece in. No matter, this is what the old chair is saying to me, no matter what, we will walk this path of happiness and together share. Signed yours truly, the grand old rocking chair.
There you go. Gladys, I don't know how you do it.
How do you do it?
How do you do it, Gladys? And I have acknowledged you to so many people in this town. How good you are.
He's a legend.
Oh,
Now we have yes, now we are friends.
and I don't know any legends, but I do now. No point, but
Yes, my next one's a little bit
All right, well,
Oh yes, I've got some down for another one.
this is the Phoenix, because I'm going to get the Phoenix up after.
Oh, yeah.
In its smouldering ashes, the Phoenix is born, when its feathers are touched by fire and burnt and torn. The old ways are destroyed and the Phoenix rises in flame, crashes and burns but rises magnificent once again. The Phoenix emerges from the flames of the fire, flying higher to aspire to what we'd all admire, with a plumage of feathers coloured golden and red. The Phoenix is reborn from the ashes of the dead.
get the wax out.
I'm on the drug that killed River Phoenix.
I like that song.
They should be in the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, Chisholm. This is serious, Mum. Definitely.
This is serious, Mum.
Yeah. Greats like
Who are
Ron Hitler Barassi's one of them.
they? Yeah.
Humphrey B. Flaubert.
There's a bad one, but
Yeah.
I want to. No, it's a terrible thing. No. Who are they, but?
All right. And so the Phoenix, Doug, come on up.
Yay!
All right, Doug. I'm pumping his ego up again.
Validate his ego.
Keep your gun handy because I've got to shoot the ego frequently. And I mean it.
In the bottom jaw.
I'm amazed here because we've got the poetry thing happening, and yet the applause, you'd think there's thousands of people here. I know there's a lot. I think the applause is awesome. Relax over there. Settle down. Right. Okay. There's always a sequence that we try to follow, or some people do. See, always words of bloody poems. Anyway. Okay. It's been an interesting day. Things happen, and I got up the hill again, and hope to get here on Friday night to get the music on my friends down at Smith House. The South Sea Islanders, they're always singing, they're always swinging. The bus pulls up, you can't hear nothing, the music's so loud.
That's beautiful.
But it could be worse.
You want to live under the practice, man.
I did think of you.
This audience is unbelievable.
We have thought of you, Stu.
You can't shut them up.
We have.
You can't shut them up.
We have.
Okay.
It's lucky I'm the light under the thunder.
Oh, that ain't no blunder.
Okay. I've got the wrong glasses on as usual. Don't matter. Plenty of time. Alright. So, yeah, it's been an interesting day writing a little poem, and some of the things come out of my subconscious. I guess they come out of everyone's, because you've got stuff in there that you kind of control. Some of it's Scottish, some of it's bloody English, and it's all sorts of stuff all mixed up. But bits come out, and little bits of language and music. Anyway, I like it. So you all know a song called Road to the Isles. Andy Stewart, he's a bum, he's only recent, but we got the old fella, Sir Harry Lauder. It's beautiful, I just love some of these lines. I'm going to lay it on you in a minute. I'll read a little bit first. I want to add a couple, if you don't mind. Road to the Isles. And I was saying to Steve before tonight, I'll read you the first line. Oh, shoot. I think I bit, oh geez. Small writing it is. A fire. Well, it's embarrassing, you know. A far croon. What's that bloody word? You can read. What's that word? What's that?
Crooning.
It's Scottish, mate.
The far crooning pulling me away.
Crooning pulling me away.
Yeah. The H is dropped.
Come here. What's he got? What's in his hand? What's in his hand?
I didn't mean that badly.
A far crooning.
Oh, I don't know.
As-
I said it's dropped a bit.
as-
It didn't mean.
Take I with me
No,
Crummock.
they don't
to
pronounce
the road.
He's got a bloody
Take
crummock.
away Crummock to the road.
You're taking me from it.
Alright.
Take it away, me from it.
So you got your comic, mate. You're sweet. Anyway, I can't read it real
You
good.
right now?
Okay.
Nobody gets you up, mate. A minute.
I managed through it.
Funny
Now,
words.
alright, I'll get this thing out off my hair, off my chest, what do you call it. Okay, this is, you know, how do you get a word for a poem? My words usually start my poems with one word, sometimes a bit more. Anyway, I couldn't think of anything sensible or too depressing or too morbid or... So I wanted to make you laugh. That's That's all right. That's it. Let him know. I've achieved my purpose. I'll see you do.
You did. Warm us up, Doug.
Don't have to do nothing. For God's sake, give me a chance.
No, I'm just taking out these fishing hooks from this thingy bobby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And we got a guest here tonight.
Buddy.
Buddy. Welcome, buddy. We used to have a dog like you, and he was your brother. Bless you. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Both-
Mate.
Yeah, right, thanks, mate.
Now, we better not interrupt, we've better let Dad work.
James, can you take control?
Yes.
James? Yeah, right.
Okay. The name of the poem is Make Me Laugh in brackets, please, you funny bloke. That's all I come up with. Can you put a smile right back on my dial? Don't know which is left or right. My humour is right outside. Prepare to eat your prepare to meet your end, they spook. Your hanging in is just a fluke. So what? I say. I'm getting a bit demonstrative. So what? So what, I say, this sunny day, and it was sunny actually, my smile is real, don't undermine. Get on the bus and play the game, dispense with tears, they hold you down, erase the lines of bloody frown. Oh gosh, exhausted. Okay. A laugh for free will fix your knee and all your issues bodily. Oh my head, it's so bad. Find your jollies, don't tear your dress. Don't behave in a chronic mess. Find your happy, find your spark, and find a bit of silly. You're such a feisty little filly. Where'd that come from? Just give a kick and then a buck. You know what's coming. And show 'em you don't give up. Now, play your song, your notes of glee, with wonder and with poetry. Change sad for glad, go bake a cake. Hey, good looking, joyous cooking. Oh, laughing makes my tummy hurt. Stop whinging at me, you. Find your wink, your nod, your love. A bloody smile will lift. Squash the gloomers and the doomers. Shut down their every word. Just cheer me up and get me going. Wag your tail and sit near me. Your joy is quite infectious. Woo! Yeah. A couple of quick lines. I want to talk. I can't read this bloody thing. I'm standing this light. Oh, then I won't be on the screen. Well, can I come over here with that light, mate?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I can't do it all.
Yes.
No, I can see the bloody thing now. Now this morning when I was writing, something come in my head, and it's an old song that you all know. I remember it. It's called something about roaming in the gloaming.
Roaming in the gloaming.
Roaming in the gloaming. But I never knew what the effing gloaming was. And I found out. The gloaming's the twilight.
Yeah.
The sun's going down, I've got my wee lassie and I'm walking up the bloody Clyde with her, you know. I'm as happy as a pig in shit. Anyway, it's a beautiful line here, so let me read a couple, please. A far, I don't know sing it, but actually could sing this real good. A far crooning is pulling me away as I win my chronic to the road. The fire coolings are putting love on me. As step I weave the sunlight for my load. My load's the sunlight. I love that. Jump a couple of lines. Here we go. Oh, the fire coolings are putting love on me. There's a laughter in this. I'm getting to it. The fire coolings are putting love on me. As step I weave my chromat to the isles. Oh, the blue islands are pulling me away. I love this next one. The blue islands are pulling me away. Their laughter puts the leap upon the lane.
The leap upon the lamb.
The lame, L-A-M-E.
Elaine.
Without the laughter on the lame, brother. Jeez, I love that. Last line, then I'll shut up. If it's thinking in your inner heart, the braggart's in my step. You egotist, you bloody ego and all that. You've never smelled the tangle of the ales. The tangle's the seaweed. It smells bloody beautiful if you're squished. You've never smelled it?
Is that like haggis?
You haven't got a clue. You're right, eh? You haven't got a clue, see? All the fire coolings are putting love on me, and step I with my chromic to the eye.
Oh, there you go.
One more line. Thanks for indulging me there. I've got a little quick 1-2 line and another thing. Shut up. This came out of a little book which, when I was living in Montana, picked it up in a little backstreet shop somewhere, Alchemy of the Heart. Printed it over there. Anyway, this is not from the book, funny, isn't it? Anyway, I want to read this. It's a little thing that touches me today, especially, or any day. This is by a book. A lot of people read this book at school in the 30s and the 40s and so on. I didn't. Anyway, this woman, her name is Frances Burnett. And she wrote a book called The Land of the Blue Flower. Kids' books maybe, but good words. Anyway, the quote says, "But the earth is full of magic. Most men know nothing of it, and so comes misery."
I like it.
You paying attention, young man? The first law of the earth's magic is this. If you fill your mind with a beautiful thought, there will be no room in it for an ugly one.
Yeah.
No room for magic.
Yes.
Okay,
Without a doubt.
What a word of wisdom, thank you, Doug.
Yeah.
A lot of wisdom, isn't it?
Ooh, thank you very much, Doug.
Thank you, mate. Well, I'll get this thing out of your way.
Here's his shoe.
Break it up.
All right. This comes with a language and concept warning, this following one, because then I'm going to invite Ashley up. Not because I'm inviting him up.
Yeah.
This poem, this was written Saturday morning. It's got elements of what was happening as I was writing in it. One of the market stall holders came up and had this scarf. It was made of really curly wool. And she said, she said, feel this. And I did. And then she says, it's made of pubic hair. It's not really, but yeah, anyway. And then I told her about this poem that I've been writing, and then she said, in your dreams. Yeah, so that occurs in the poem as well. There's times I can't sleep, so yeah, but language and concept warning. This is called Repopulating an Alien Planet. Wow. I know. There's times I can't sleep. There's a story inside my brain about an alien abduction while riding on a train. There are times I can't sleep and I'm taken from my bed. I get probed, poked, jagged and prodded in my head. The next thing I remember, I was on a water planet swimming and my job was to repopulate and copulate all the women. All the men were sterile at the collapse of the population, so into test tubes they wanted my masturbation ejaculation. They said I could return to Earth when my offspring were born. For 9 months I fucked and wanked and made alien porn. When all at once there began a giant wave of little baby James alien birth. So the aliens put me back on the spaceship and brought me back to Earth. They gave me a souvenir scarf made of alien pubic hair. And when I'm lonely, I wear it because the smell reminds me of when I was there. Repopulating an alien planet. Where I was abducted far away and made to have sex with alien women for 277 days. I remember waking up and still riding on the train, but I haven't told a soul because they probably think I'm insane. Because sometimes everything is not as it seems. I told someone and she replied, only in your dreams. Okay.
God, what a set there you had.
And that was during the market.
Yeah, I know.
Is that the day that you have between Saturday and Sunday, James?
Yeah.
6 all day?
Was that suitable for the dog to hear?
I didn't come in here to the beginning
Come and
with
sneeze on the dog.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to invite Ashley Albanese out to help us cover the
Yes.
Well, it's, can you hear me as I come in from
Yep.
a dangerous angle? I don't quite know what to make of that protogenitive, procreative population of Logalong, but I felt my dad's ghost. He loved that. He had those visions and fantasies himself. He used to tell me about them, and I used to think, oh, back to battle, Ralphie, back to battle. Well, I'm happy to be alive and still be here. I was walking down Beatty Street Mall, and someone said to me yesterday, where are your rulers? And they were obviously impressed. Well, here are my 3 rulers. 4. I'm sorry? 4. No, 3. The hypothesis tonight is that I'm making the rule. The implications are that I'm out on a paranoid fantasy, like most of the people with too much money and power on the planet. And the parameters of that are, if I cross too many people too many times, well, we're on the cross, aren't we? So, that's my rule. That's my rule for tonight. I always say to my thespian friends, because I was nearly an actor, I say to them, you play to please and you please to play.
So true.
Now, what have I been reading? Why am I laughing? This is my comment about the moment we are living. The zeitgeist. Oh, I love James's friend here. His friend who carries the children of the next generation, even if he is a boy, and floats around in the waves of becoming. His beautiful horsey of the sea. I love him. Look at his eye. Well, I have not been reading War and Peace, but I have read it. When I was 21, I had the flu and I spent the whole week in bed and read it from cover to cover, never read it again, but it's the greatest book ever written, I think, and had the greatest impact on me of anything I've ever read, but I read it once. Going, gone. The point to my philippic is that there are barrow loads of this book being carried through Kiev as I speak to you, down to the Dnieper River, and they're being thrown in because the Ukrainian state is banning War and Peace because, in their considered opinion, it is a work that glorifies war. Well, I can stand here and comment because my family, not long ago, fought with this man, and liked him very much. Being Corsicans, they knew him, and so I'm not biased. Read War and Peace. Takes you somewhere. Now, that is true. The Ukrainian people are banning it. because it glorifies war. Now, I was wandering along the street, as I always do, being a retired poet, looking for the P, and I found at Ross Barnett's bin this book by my dear friend,
I've got
Anne
that one
Edgeworth.
up there too.
And I remembered that she published this. I think it's one of the last publications, Poet number 17 of Guyra Press, when it was publishing writers from New England or people connected to it. Does her face come up well? She was quite a character, Anne. Her grandfather had been the one of the two ICs on Mawson's trip to Antarctica, David Edgeworth, and there's a building in his honour at Sydney University.
What's your name, mate?
Anne Edgeworth. David Edgeworth, yeah.
Avenue, right next to
Yeah. Many people know that building, and he was her grandfather. But I had never had the opportunity till I got this on the bargain bin, marching past Ross Burnett's excellent store in Bridge Street as you go down the slope to go up the slope at Uralla, to look at her work in some detail. And I was impressed. I will read a poem that has a personal relationship to me, and I will quickly say why that is. I wouldn't go fishing and just leave an empty string without a hook on it. When I was a young fellow, my dad had a shop in Tweed Heads, and for rest and recreation, I'd help him sometimes. I would go next door, and there was a door that opened, and I went in, and around the walls of this nightclub that had been closed down by the police because Rowie Norton had evidently been selling marijuana and drugs to the Tweed Heads people of 1968 or 67. Rowie Norton, who's a figure of fame, she'd left her witch-like figures scrambulating in surrealistic ecstasy on broomsticks and other things, shivering around the wall of the empty nightclub. And I used to go in on 3 or 4 times and have 20 minutes or a quarter of an hour alone with Rowie Norton's calligraphic ramblings. So I have a personal sense of her, and those walls and those drawings that she did have in many ways never left my mind. And I was surprised to see that Anne had actually left a poem about Sydney and Ms. Norton, and I usually have things mapped out, but I'll ask James while I do something else to find me the poem about 1980 in Sydney that she wrote. Now, I am a person of misrule. Even though I carry rules around. Here we are. I thought I would just open today and do a couple from this marvellous collection, serendipitously. Hockey at the sports field. Well, my daughter was a great hockey player. Great, actually. She was a great goalie. So, in her memory, let's read Hockey at the sports field. Girls in scarlet, girls in green, clack their sticks in formal war. Seagulls gathered on the scene stand and wonder what it's for. For what roles do we intrigue? The passion of this gentle folk. For playing ball in what big league? For putting in whose wheel a spoke. That was written by James Macaulay, and as I set off on the blank of it, I realised how relevant to Leanne these words are. For what roles do we intrigue? The passion of this gentle folk. For playing ball in what big league? For putting in whose wheel a spoke. Very famous writer. And I'll do one more from page 41. By dear old Henry Lawson. Gladys's friend. Gladys had a friend once, Henry Lawson. I took the book of punishment, it begins. The poem is on looking through the old punishment book at Urandery School, April 20th, 1914. I must say that as a school teacher of 10 years rule or so, measure or so, I was punished a lot more than I ever punished. But that's our space age classroom. I'm looking through the old punishment book at Urandery School, April 20th, 1914. And Henry says in brackets, a dirge. Do you expect me to come around with this ruler and hit you all? No. Here we are, punishment book. My sense of humour. I took the book of punishment and ran its columns down. I started with an open brow and ended with a frown. I dropped on long forgotten names. They took me unaware. I noted old familiar names, but my name wasn't there. I thought of what I might have been, and all my heart was pain to find of all the scholars there that I was never caned. I thought of wasted childhood hours, and a tear rolled down my cheek. I must have been a model boy, which means a little sneak. Oh, give me back my youth again, Doc Faustus used to say. I only wish the powers would give my boyhood for a day. A model boy, beloved of girls, despised by boys and men. But it comforts me to think that I've made up for it since then.
Who was that?
Henry Lawson.
Yeah.
I found that serendipitous. I'll do a third from this book. Here goes. Voila. Betting and beer. No, I'll do that another day. I'll finish with Anne's
I'm
poem.
not sure, was it this one?
Oh, it's the one about Sydney in 1985.
I don't know, that's like a housing estate?
Fancy being so disorganised. I feel very embarrassed.
Well, there's one, yes, there's this one here, Hyde Park, Sydney.
I'll do that.
Okay.
And I'll do the Rowie Norton another day. Although I will procrastinate and there's one about the Pink Pub in Armadale too. Pink Pub Armadale Jazz, which I will do because it's such. When I read this, I was struck at what a really great poet she could have been. She's very good, but she could have been great, I think, if her life had been a little bit different. And I remember about 40 years ago, I discussed this with her, and 35 years ago, and she would have concurred, I think. Jazz, the Pink Pup, Armadale, 1989. Talk, band, talk, but throw away words and all that. Pick up brass, biggest strings of all and drums. Get round the honky-tonk and play your guts out. Talk, talk on, sax and trumpet, argue it and shout. Trombone slides in tween. Drums mark time and double bass thrums. Waiting for a look in piano thumps. Somewhere in the middle. Here's a beaut, a real beaut idea. Take it up, try it out, bounce it round. Till the saxophone jumps right up, feels it up. High man, high, high. Hold that note while the others do reply. Good talk, brass talk, string talk, drums. Piano, C and fair play, the whole pup hums. With talking tunes, some old, some new. Some of them baritone, some of them blue. Talking tunes till they run out of breath. Talk is done.
Wow.
Anne's spirit really comes to you in that. She was a very vibrant, deeply intellectual woman. I hope something of her face came up there. And I will finish with a poem about my birthplace. Love and hate it as I do. Have you ever heard anybody say that they love and hate Sydney?
Yep.
Oh, I think so.
Been there.
So here we go. I really felt her presence when I did that, and I hadn't read any of her work for 30 or 40 years since Monday night when I sat down and read from this. Hyde Park, Sydney, and The Cross in the 80s. Here it is. Now, I gave you a bit of a pedestal, imagining me as a 15-year-old looking at all these very erotic witches riding broomsticks round an empty clubhouse space in the main street of Tweed Heads. So here's a poem that relates to all of that by Anne Edgeworth, called The Cross in the 80s, for Rosalie Norton, artist. So I am wondering now, just before I launch off into this yantra of words, whether Anne knew Rosalind Norton. It seems unchanged at first, except for the bulk of a big red that shouldered itself between shabbier neighbours, punched a space to grin, inviting yellow fangs above its bulk. Old men sun themselves and practice dying outside a spindlier crop of takeaways. A single customer hovers, cautiously trying to peer behind the sex shop's dingy blades. Slips into the adult movies, their comforting fog in which everything that has never happened to you and never will happen to you, poor cockthrobbin, opens itself on the screen until you two touch hold, fire your wad at the empty dark. The cross mumbles and yawns in the spring sun. The fountain's puffball blows, the afternoon jobless boys line up in the slice of park. Packaged popcorn, served or take away. Mouths can be crammed with anything for a buck, and oral gratification's safer today. The boys hang around in the park and try their luck. Cafe's gone, where a witch woman's wares transformed a wall. They sure did. Girl's body under her lover, 8 arms round her huge abdomen for cover, delicate brushstrokes laid down fang and hairs of Arachne's runaway spouse deep in delights, of breasts and belly and white sprawling thighs. Possession the artist which sought vainly nights from red-eye dicks too trivial to despise. Artist whose yearning for the oldest one, hard as gnarled roots, spider-furred, beast and man, creation's thrust in darkness, ancient Pan led to a hoof-print drying in the sun. And so, from dreams she conjured phalluses, grotesque, passionate couplings, work demolished, carted off with the rubble, exchanged for polished Lemonex tops and mortoned pizza palaces. Smothered under real estate, the fire's out. The skull of the cross dries quietly in the sun, nor asks what all this emptiness is about, or where that urgent flesh, that passion has gone.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks,
Very
Rowie Norton.
Rosaline Norton, the Witch of
I think they
King's
call her
Cross.
Rowie too.
Okay.
Yeah. She came up to Tweed Heads. They hunted her out, not because she was with the drugs, but they couldn't cope with the girls on the broomsticks wandering up and down the walls of a Tweed Heads shop.
All right. Well, I've got 2 left now, and then we're over for the night. What announcements have I got this Friday night? It's the Winter Vibes Pacific Dance Party with the Solomon Island Band and the Vanuatu String Band here. It's $10. It's just going to be a dance night. There'll be food. 10.
Oh,
10.
what God?
When is that again?
Friday night, 7:30.
Oh,
It'll be worth coming.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
7:30 Friday, finishes 8:30 Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
I must write a set of poems about Vanuatu.
All right, so the next 2 poems that I've got, the last 2 I've got, are in 2 halves. Both of them are 2 halves. And they're something different. So the first one hasn't got a title, or it kind of does. It has a sort of like Pisces and Aquarius. That's what I just made up now. When you want to say something and you don't know how to say it, when you're wondering when and how to say it, when you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, so you just stay quiet. When you need to be courageous and also compassionate and kind. When the truth needs to be told for your own integrity and you don't want to upset someone. When you want to speak up but there's an inner voice saying be quiet and be patient. When you're sure of something because your heart and intuition tell you the same thing. Fish swim in water. Water is in fish bowls. Fish live in fish bowls. Fish bowls are carried. Dropped fish bowls break. Glass shatters. Water soaks. Fish dries. Fish dies. Fish don't belong in fish bowls. Fish belong free in rivers. Fish belong free in seas. Water is in rivers and seas, where fish live free from fish bowls, which break. And the last one here. Oh yeah, this is hard to get, things that are hard to get. An original 1970s $6 million man action figure doll still in the package. Hard to get. Some people's poetry. Hard to get. Assumptions. Hard to get. White people hate. Alcohol if you're under 18. Unicorn poo. Dinosaur eggs. Warm in Guyra. Hallelujah. Compatible mate.
Yes.
I'm talking to a whole bunch of single people. Published. Hard to get. Rid of borders. A dream job. Vaxxers to change their mind. Anti-vaxxers to change their mind. Got them both there. Yeah. The big one, yeah. I look high and I look low for unicorn poo everywhere I go, looking far and wide. I get tired legs, looking about for dinosaur eggs. It's hard to get white people hate. I still haven't found a compatible mate. Looking for a $6 million figure I like, but not sure if I dig her. I don't even have a job. If you like, could you send this poet to Bob?
I can do that.
I was just hoping you had that.
Wow. There's two.
Alright. On that note, thank you everyone. It's been a fantastic night.
Got the zoo Bob to a note.
Yeah. I got one Bob and I gave him two. Yay, Bob.
Any doctors?
Time for a note.
Any pineapple? I like pineapples, yeah.
Yeah.
The gold ones. Yeah.
There's a note.
Alright, well thank you. For people out there watching on YouTube, can you give it a thumbs up, write in the comment what you like, and share it with your friends on social media because we don't go on Facebook anymore. And thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have a lovely evening.
Yeah, great.
Hey, Doug, I want to, you know